It is now 6:50. 1.0 opening of meeting. Is there a need for an interpreter? Doesn't appear so. If you can just stay with us a little bit longer, thank you. Welcome, everybody. I know we've had a 3-season day today. It started a little cloudy, so it looked a little wintry. Then we had a little spring in the middle, and I think we got up to summer today. But we're all glad to be here. 2.0, call to order. 3.0, roll call. Emmanuel Lopez.
Here.
Merced Zamora.
Here.
Freddy Espinoza.
Here.
And John Alvarez, I believe, will be here a little later. Sabrina Gomez.
Here.
And myself. We can all please stand for this flag salute.
Ready, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. 4.0, adoption of agenda. 4.1, adoption of the agenda is requested as presented.
Motion.
Before you make the motion, I'd like to ask if you have
Test.
any item that needs to go into closed session. If none of you have any objection, I'd like to take 13.6 into closed session.
Yes.
Is there any objection? Okay, so go ahead with the motion, taking that matter into closed session. Who made the motion?
Second.
I motion. I motion.
No, that was for 13.6.
Oh, 13.6. Sorry, I thought that was.
I'll motion for 13.6 to go to close.
We don't need a motion, just so that we can take that in. As long as nobody has an objection. So for right now, the adoption of the agenda. Who made the motion on that?
Ready.
Freddie.
And then
Second.
And Merced, you're staying with the second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. 5.0, consent calendar. 5.1, approval of the special board meeting minutes for March 21st, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Freddy Espinoza, second by Merced Zamora. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. 5.2, approval of the regular board meeting minutes for March 25th, 2025.
motion.
Second.
You have a motion by Sabrina Gomez, second by Freddy Espinoza. Is that correct?
Correct.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. 5.3, approval of released warrants dated March 27th, 2025 in the amount of $858,838 with 48 cents.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Merced Zamora, second by Sabrina Gomez. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. 6.0, awards presentation. 6.1, student board member report.
Can everyone hear me? Everyone? Yeah. Good evening, Board President Lopez, school board members, Superintendent Mendez, school administrators, teachers, and community members. My name is Emmanuel Lopez, and I am the Associated Student Body President at Farmsville High School. It is my pleasure to be here tonight as a representative of the entire student body at FHS. Tonight, I would like to share some activities happening at Farmsville High School. In athletics, our boys varsity and JV baseball teams are currently playing away at Orosi High School, taking on the Cardinals. Our girls varsity and JV softball teams are also competing at Orosi High School, taking on the Lady Cardinals as well. In extracurricular activities, the FHS FFA chapter has had a busy season with FFA meetings, state leadership conference, and planning the end of the year awards banquet. Farmsville FFA had members attend the Sequoia sectional spring meeting held at Monachi High School, enjoying the meeting by playing glow-in-the-dark dodgeball. The state leadership conference was held in Sacramento and consisted of a 4-day conference filled with a career and university expo and leadership workshops. This year, Farmsville FFA had 14 members attend. Their award banquet will be held May 21st. More information will be coming out soon regarding the banquet. ASB and leadership are having their last rally of the year. It will be about sports and our real theme week. The theme for this week was Monday, go back in time and dress the era 2011, and today was Just Like Blue and Jewel from the movie. Tomorrow will consist of catch some waves or snaps a pig, server versus tourist. Thursday will be gear up or game on, which consists of wearing a sports or soccer jersey. And last but not least, blend in or stand out on Friday. Wear camel or an animal print to the rally. Don't worry, as this will not be our seniors' last rally, but we will have an assembly for them in, I believe, late April or early May. On Friday, it will also be our goodbye to our very own Richard Davis. He's worked at the high school for about 6 years now, and he's a mind behind all of our sports. It's not going to be easy letting him go. He has taken in most kids and athletes who have never tried a sport. He's the one who pushes us all to be a better person and try new things. Davis will be missed and hope to see him again at many sports events. In closing, I would like to thank the school board and Superintendent Mendez for the opportunity to share great things at Farmsville High School. Go Aztecs.
All right, thank you. Very good.
I'm sorry, but I will have to be leaving early, so this is my last thing I had to say before I
Okay.
go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Manuel.
Oh, see you guys on Tuesday after 2 weeks?
Mhm.
Oh, wait. Oh, this is embarrassing. Oh.
Hmm.
Good luck.
They are.
6.2, Deep Creek Academy and Farmersville High Principal Update. Who's going first?
Mr. Villarreal.
Good evening, colleagues, board members of the community. I'm Mr. Villarreal, principal of, I was thinking something, principal of Farmersville Adult School and Deep Creek Academy. Tonight, we're going to provide a brief update on some of the updates that we have in our two programs. Got a lot going on both ends. Which arrow, Mike, should I hit to get to the next one? Right arrow. It's not working, brother. There we go. Okay, currently at DCA, all alternative education students now receive direct instruction. We're not just online anymore, click with the systems that we've had in the past. Periods first and second are direct instruction, one in math and one in English, and then those kids flip-flop, and they receive that direct instruction directly from the teacher, old school teaching curriculum, and then the latter part of the day, they remediate some of the stuff that they're behind on. Like I said, math and English are the two academic focuses, and we currently have the ERS department through TCOE coming in to support those two teachers in those two subject areas. So those two consultants help us a great deal. And although attendance and promptness can be obstacles for our students, we're at a 90% attendance rate right now with a couple of kids on independent study, and we had a couple of kids out on medical issues, so that kind of wavered the percentage, but 95 is our goal, and we're right in the 90s. Aftercare program, which means once kids leave DCA, we have a pretty robust program of offerings for them. We do FAFSA workshops, we do enrollment in COS, so every senior is enrolled at COS and has a financial aid application on record. We do college visits, career fairs, classroom presentations from outside stakeholders, and we also do mock interviews. Military visits, ASVAB help for armed forces, that's also something that our kids have had interest in. The counseling office has also increased the social emotional support, which includes outside providers. A lot of our kids come with attendance issues, with grade issues, and a lot more in their adolescent lives. So we provide outside services and get some support for our counseling team. I'm a counselor as well, so Ms. Venegas and I handle what we can handle, and all the heavy stuff gets referred out to service providers. WASC. WASC is here tomorrow. Our self-study report was submitted on the 10th. Tomorrow is our visit, and then they will be here at the end of the month for a full, thorough WASC accreditation report on both of my schools. So that process starts tomorrow, as I indicated on the next bullet. The DCA leadership team also participates in several group activities throughout the city, in addition to helping the community and a lot of the outreach offerings. We also do elementary school support. We read to the kids. We're neighbors with Mr. Navarro's team, so we're often over there supporting in a wide range of supports. Academic achievements. Like I said, the infusion of direct instruction has increased student proficiency across the board. So we're starting to see that, the fruit of that labor. The kids adapted really well. They were able to catch on, and they met the rigor. So we're starting to see those scores improve. Testing's coming up right around the corner for our 11th graders. So we'll start to see the percentages and the data come in on a lot of those pieces. Again, the support from TCOE, our ERS people are supporting, and we're aligning that to CASP testing. Like I said, we have that coming up as well. And the DCA hybrid program that I explained on the first slide combines the direct instruction that we're offering with the APEX. So they're still receiving the credit remediation throughout the latter part of the day. Periods first and second, they are getting direct instruction. 90% of the student body is expected to be on track to graduate this year. So we have a couple of anomalies, but for the most part, the students that we get graduate, and that should be the same this year as we look to have a pretty large group again. DCA activities, as you can see, we do a lot of outside the box stuff. We have a good leadership group that teams up with our staff members, and we provide everything from workshops. I think the left picture is a community event. That's our whole team in the middle. And then the right, I think, is a career fair, and folks from county and other places coming in to offer alternatives to our students. Adult school. I do both schools. Once the kids leave at 1:30 or so during the afternoon, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, my campus turns into adult school, and we serve the 18 and up population. So the current offerings for adult school, we offer a high school diploma class, we offer ESL, and we offer CTE as well. New courses, we do forklift certification courses. We're contracted with West Hills Community College. COS was impacted, so they bring forklifts out. They bring a Spanish instructor and an English instructor. We do 8 hours on Saturday, 8 hours on Sunday, and after 16 hours, they are credentialed and receive a certificate, and they can go on and get jobs and take on that career. We looked at possibly purchasing a forklift. The one that I looked at was kind of a hoopty. That's what they call a beat-up car in my day. It was about $10,000 or so, gets you a forklift, but the cost is a lot higher than that. The maintenance and all those things that come along with the forklift process, it wasn't as easy as we thought it was. So we'll continue to contract with West Hills, and hopefully down the line we can partner up and get our own forklifts and certify our guy here locally. We're also doing CPR first aid. We had our first class on 3/27, and we're also going to be offering another class coming up through American Red Cross. We contracted with one of our staff members here in district, and she's providing those services. And last but not least, this is the largest number I've seen in the 6 years that I've been in Farmersville. We have 11 potential graduates this year for adult school, which is huge. We have probably 60 enrolled, maybe 40-something attending, and 11 of those students are graduating. So that's a huge, huge number for us. That's just kind of our outline. Like I said, we offer programs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 5 to 8. Ms. Hernandez is now our new ESL teacher and is going through trainings as we speak, and we'll be starting up classes of ESL services as soon as we come back from spring break. So we'll start that group up again. Ms. Hernandez will be working directly with that group. Like I said, adult basic education means high school diploma and GED. We offer ESL, and again, we offer CTE currently with forklift and first aid CPR. Those are some of our platforms that we use through adult school. It's much different than K-12. GED is through Aztec Learning Platform. Edgenuity is the platform that we use for our main curriculum. Burlington English is our ESL, and TOPS Pro and Costas are other platforms that we use to support our adult population. And that's it. Any questions?
Any
Could you repeat that,
questions?
please?
Oh, you missed it. I introduced myself as the president when I walked in there. I got a tongue twister.
Was there any questions down there? For your WASC accreditation, are you going to need any one of us there?
There was a request today via email for Mr. Mendez to be there later in the month when they do the full-on self-study. That's the 28th through the 30th of April. Tomorrow's the pre-visit, so I'll sit down with the department chair. We'll lay everything out, look at options for those 3 days of visits. We'll get the team here at the end of the month, and then we'll go through those 72 hours of accreditation for both schools. So I've got to do both schools. They allowed me to do them on one report, so I didn't have to split the two sites. The WASC report is all in one lengthy report, and they're going to pick that apart and ask those particular questions.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we had the dates, that way if someone's available,
They had to change it twice. Initially, they had us, they sent us the wrong team. The second time, they scheduled us during spring break. So we had to move both of those dates. So now, tomorrow's the pre-visit, 28th to 30th is the actual self-study.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Espinosa, you had a question?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. So you said 40 to 60 people attend
Yes,
the adult school?
right,
11 are graduating?
yes.
Is that graduating with the GED or like what
We
graduating?
push high school diploma. We push high school diploma. We have very few participants that actually have to do the GED. At times that happens, but the majority of the students come to us with a pretty good amount of credits. And a couple of board meetings ago, I had a reduction of credits approved. It's through the state. We all agreed to do a reduction of credits. So we lowered the credit standard to 130. That's the state standard. So when students come in with 120 credits, 115 credits, 95 credits, they're on the fast track. So we really push the diploma. Very few of them are on the GED track. So the majority, if I'm not mistaken, those 11 graduates, I think 9 or 10 of them are going to do the diploma. So when we have to, we'll do a GED, but for the most part, our students come in pretty ready for that next step.
Awesome.
So I'm part of the consortium, obviously, we're part of the consortium,
Mhm.
we meet at the College of the Sequoias.
Right.
And Deep Creek Academy is the smallest school that's represented in that consortium. I think it's a total of $78,000 for the adult school.
This year, yeah, $78,000 we get from the
So
state.
we were just there last week, and Arturo presented to the rest of the districts there. I mean, you got Visalia who gets 6 million, Rosie who gets, for Tulare City Schools, it gets 3 million.
CLS.
$300,000 to a Rosie, to like school, like districts. We got 78. But yet Arturo in his presentation got kudos from the rest of the teams because we're the little engine that could. But that $78,000, he pressed every single nickel and penny to make sure that we get the CPR certification, the forklift certification, to the point that they're now copying what Arturo, Mr. Villarreal is doing at Deep Creek Academy.
We're able to do more with less, because if you look at a school like, let's say Visalia Adult School, there's 3,000 students there. They operate all day long. They get millions of dollars from the government. The funding is split, state funding and federal funding. So with us, we have such a small population and such a small group to serve If we're serving 30 students out of 70, that's a large number. So that's what the state looks at when they divvy up our money and when they talk about, you know, consortium equity. We're moving the needle and doing the same job as a lot bigger schools and a lot bigger districts because we're offering to our small community everything that they need to get, which is usually a diploma, learn English, and get on the job track.
And I really appreciate that you did bring in the certification for forklift.
Thank you.
My son was able to
Good.
get certified, and, you know,
Good.
he's been a graduate a long time
Cool.
ago, but that was really good for him. And you had mentioned at one point what the cost is when they have to bring in the forklift.
5,200 per session. It's
Per
about
session.
250 per student, I believe, and we can qualify up to 20. So if you look at $5,200 for 20 participants, that's pretty good bang for our buck. And we get charged the most out of the whole consortium because West Hills and Kalinga, they've got to truck those forklifts and all the equipment out here. We're the farthest in proximity from them, so we pay a little more, but it's still a pretty good deal. 5,200, we try to do one a semester, and that usually comes out of our CAPE rollover money, our state funding that we can roll over.
And just, you know, because he's doing it now, the forklift, it's not a regular forklift, it's just one person lift that picks him up and brings him back down. What are those called? I don't know.
It's the most basic credential that you can get. I think that gets you in the door in a lot of these factories and other places.
Right.
They have advanced steps and there's other processes you have to do. What we do is we offer the basic
The basic.
forklifting certification that'll get you a job
Get you in the door.
out at the industrial park. We did the research, and
Right.
a lot of those places are linked through West Hills and through COS.
Yeah, I think that did help him a lot to have that
Good.
certification, so
Good.
thank
Glad
you.
it worked out, yes.
So how many days do you actually have the forklifts there?
They drop them off usually like on a Friday or so, get them all set up, and then their team comes out Saturday morning early. We'll meet them out there. Students come in. They'll stay Saturday, Sunday. By Monday afternoon, they'll send a big old rig in, pick them all up, scoop
Okay.
everything up, and take it back to West Hills. So it's usually about a 4-day turnaround when we offer these. So they bring them into the gate, lock everything up, and we secure all their equipment for those 2 days.
Cool.
For your CPR classes, who is that open up to?
Anybody that's over 18.
Over 18?
Anybody in the community that's over 18. It could be a staff member, members of the community, anybody on the board. It's wide open, and it's
It's
credentialed.
outside of Farmersville too.
We-
People can come in and travel.
Yep.
And the consortium, they talked about a gentleman from somewhere up north.
Yeah,
Milpitas coming into a Rosie Unified.
It was like 3 hours that he took because he needed that certification. But that happens pretty often, and if we can't fill those spots, they'll send us applicants. The same way if we have, let's say we have people in our community that need something outside of our scope, we'll send them to Visalia. It's a commute, but they offer a lot more than we do, and we're a partnership, so it's not a competition. And it's much different than K-12, where ADA is not determined by how many people are walking through the door and how many people you have on campus. We get kudos through pay points, which are graduations, and it's monetarily based. Unfortunately, those numbers all reflect the dollar amount, but pay points that's what moves the needle. Graduates, certifications, and then every 40 hours we test as well. So if we're making gains in classes, those show within our systems every 40 hours, and we're able to see that progress.
I have a copy of the presentation.
Yes, we'll get you a copy for sure.
Thank you, and I think that would have probably helped all our coaches that we have for the city, you know, soccer,
Yeah, that's-
baseball, and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they are all certified or not, but that'd be
Yeah.
something that could be,
We'll continue that partnership with I met with Nurse Rogers this morning, and we talked about a few other options moving forward, because it's her staff member that's teaching the classes for us. It's real easy. Timesheeter, we bring people in, and we're contracted already with American Red Cross. That's all done internally, and it's a pretty easy, clean.
So what I heard from one of the
Can
board
move.
members, Mr. Ayala, is maybe contact some of our local coaches,
Yeah.
Mr. Maldonado, his team,
Definitely.
Little League teams. If it's on pay points, as you say, and
Sure.
certification,
Right.
the amount of students or people, adults that are coming in, we can maximize our community at the same time,
Definitely.
maximize on those pay points.
Definitely.
Thank you, Mr.
thank you
Ayala.
very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
have Dr. Gonzalez from Farmersville High School.
Good evening, Board President Lopez, school board members, Superintendent Mendez, district employees, and community members. My name is Jesus Gonzalez. I am the proud principal of Farmersville High School. And this evening, I'm going to give a brief overview of the high school, of all the highlights that have been going on, give you a little bit of the student life, that we have a video that got put together, and then looking forward into the horizon. And then I also want to share our bag. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. So with that, these are the 4 areas I'm going to be covering briefly this evening. First, I kind of want to start off with what has happened and some of the highlights and some of the trends that have been going on, and give definitely credit for the last few years of the people that have been working hard at Farmersville High School to create these trends. So just kind of giving you the bigger picture. As we put the WAS report together this year, we kind of looked back at some data, and we saw that the trends are moving forward, moving up. There were a lot of areas, but I kind of highlighted some of these. You saw that in the WAS report that was put on the district website. So on our ELA and math over the last 2 years, looking back at last spring, there's been some growth, positive growth. EL progression also moving in the right direction, and CT pathway completers have grown from last year's completers from the year prior. So again, a lot of kudos to the people that have been working at Farmersville High School, and also to our feeder system that's been preparing students better and better each year, so kids are reaching a higher level academically and also success in these areas. Some other highlights that we have for this year, we've had increased number of competitions, recognitions, and awards by our CTE programs, and also even our guitar program. So some of the competitions, they go far and wide. I think you guys all see that firsthand as you always have the board transmittals in front of you and see that they're asking to go to different competitions and recognitions throughout the state. And I know even with our FFA National, if you guys recall a couple of months back, in our awards. Some of the recognitions, for example, and I'll give one that just occurred today, we actually had the COS Superintendent President, Dr. Brett Calvin, and the board president, Raymond Macareno, who I believe is also a Farmersville alum, come to our guitar program today and look at the great things happening because we want to make a stronger connection and bridge for the COS program they have there. So that's been going really well this year. We also have increased number of staff developments throughout the year, and I know I shared that firsthand, where we're meeting more consistently on Wednesdays to ensure that we're training our teachers in the areas that we need the most growth in. Also increased reciprocal accountability school-wide through a coaching model. And what I mean by reciprocal accountability is that we can't work alone, be successful, so we need each other in all aspects, teachers, teacher teams, school site PLC, and district PLC. That is how we're going to grow the most for our students' sake. And then the coaching model is obviously coaching people to move forward by that accountability, but also the supports that are in place or in building and putting in place. Other highlights that we have, we're strengthening our partnerships or collaborations with our stakeholders. We just had a school site council yesterday, and we had open discussion and honest discussion of what's been working well and what areas we still need to work on to get more parent involvement in the decision making. We do have strong parent involvement when we talk about lunch on the lawn. I was happily surprised that I've never seen that before. And for the high school, I thought it was going to be a couple of parents dropping off some lunches, and it was much greater than I anticipated, actually. So it was huge turnout, and that is really good. And if you go to sporting events or other fun events, a lot of parent turnout. But what we're still asking for is more parent turnout on decision making. A seat at the table when we're talking about spending money on their children and their community. One of the parents yesterday had a great point that when he says, when he comes to these meetings, he's looking at what's best for all students, just not his own individual student. And I kind of want to highlight that because I think that's how we progress as a community. Increased transparency and accountability with parents and school community, definitely showing what we're doing very well in and what areas we need to continue to improve. It's a continuous improvement cycle that we have. Improve alignment and communication with our district office, and I think that is definitely has improved and strengthened this year under the new leadership and the people that we connect with often. Looking at a reflection of minimal incidences and issues with overall sports program. Like any other sports program I've been a part of, there's always minor things that go on, but if there was major, you would all know about it. of course, and it's great to see that we are focusing on student athletes first, before just wanting to have just an athlete on the field. So that has been minimal this year, at least to my knowledge, and I usually know what's going on with the sports program. And then decrease the number of discipline incidents at school-wide. We quarterly give this information out to our teachers at a staff meeting, and we do a comparison of this year's months to last year's month, and we've seen a trend of decreases. There's still areas that we could focus on and do better in to decrease the situations or incidents in school, but there's definitely a comparison from the last year, and that has dropped or reduced this year. Another highlight for this year, and I know I've shared a little bit more with the school board than with the community, but we did have our Wall Street visit just last month. And these were some of the areas that they had wanted us to focus on. The bullet points on the left: fidelity with the WASH process, update school-wide learning objectives, improve data analysis, increase our academic rigor through depth of knowledge, strengthen the daily student engagement, and support English learners. Those were some of the keys that they were gonna look for, and they did look for when they came to visit. I'm happy to say that they came in, and you can see the green light, or the green button, which to me says a green light. The WASH chair committee gave a very positive verbal share out at the end of their visit to the staff, but the official results will be coming out soon. I anticipate maybe the next week or two, but I could guarantee that it's going to put us back on the right track, because as I spoke to her and as she shared out, she couldn't give us the exact, but the recommendation is gonna be a very strong recommendation on our part. So kudos to the district for the support, our board members throughout, the ones that were obviously there, and the parents that were there, because all that gave them the realization that we're moving forward and we're moving swiftly to higher results. With that, I also want to show a day in the life of gymnastics. So I have a short video to share, and I believe the link is not going to be live. Correct, Michael? I got to go close it out. Okay. So show them the next slide, please. Michael, you're showing the next slide. You're going to close that out, and I think you said it's on the desktop. I'm trying to minimize it. Okay. There we go.
Escape.
Which video is it?
Orange cone.
Yep, thank you. It's a short 2-minute video. hopefully that gave you just a little bit of a visual for many of you that have been to the high school. You see this on your visits, but others haven't had the opportunity or pleasure to go by there. Are you gonna put it back on, Michael?
First slideshow.
There it is. Current. There you go. All right. So again, the video is just to give everybody a sneak peek, if you will, to the daily life of an Aztec at our school. So with that, looking forward to what's coming next year and the years to come. So we're looking to the horizon. One of the things is we definitely want to continue to focus on raising the Aztec way of our culture, what we do, and the climate, how we feel. So each and every day we want to make sure that we put things in place to make sure that our students and our staffs have that culture and climate in the forefront of what we do. With that, it would have to be about boost positive incentive for students and staff with highlights, awards, kudos, etc. Ways to make sure that we recognize our great students at Farmers High School, which you have a ton of. And sometimes we focus on the smaller amount of how we support the ones that are struggling, and we forget the ones that are just doing a phenomenal job, and we just kind of give them a pat on the back, but I think they deserve a lot more than just that. Or a fist bump from the principal, because that's nice, but that's not the same as some other kudos we could give out. Also strengthening our school pride through the school improvement initiatives and messaging. Something we definitely wanted to do is to rebrand our school in the sense of putting more things up that are positive for students and staff to see in the classrooms. Like recently we've redone our mission and vision statement as a school site, and we have posters throughout the school. Also, we're working through our collective commitments, if you will, posting those, and also messaging. And that is where we need to improve in messaging to our parents of all the great things that are going on. I know that we have a great system with Farmers Goes Up, and that's a lot of great visuals of things that are going on, but even more messaging than that from the school standpoint. So that's where we're gonna definitely focus on next year. Also increase our clarity, I should say the word correctly, right? Increase clarity, accountability, and build capacity in our staff members and shared leadership. So if we want to grow and be great, then I have to build up our future leaders and our future decision makers staff-wide. It can't just be one person or a few of us, it's everybody collectively. So shared leadership's important to me, and I see that that's how we're gonna move scores and our students forward. The other focus is as we move forward, and we know that we always have attrition like any other school district and any other school site, is making sure that when we do go out and we hire and train, and then we retain highly qualified teachers and staff members. So when we bring them in, we want to keep them. And a lot of times that has to do with some strong training, so they feel that they're getting that full support to be successful, because everybody wants to be successful for students. Also increase parent and community involvement through additional school events. So always looking for more ideas, more opportunities for students, parents, and community members to partner with us and join us at our site. And a few other areas looking forward is making sure that as we have our instructional practices, we look at research or evidence-based instructional practices that has been shared many times in this room, actually, and our year-round teacher and staff support. So not only do we focus on onboarding at the beginning of the year for our new teachers, but even onboarding teachers that have moved around possibly and are returning to the high school to make sure that they kick off strong, and then all year long continue that teacher support. Continue also with some of the training that we've already done this year with depth of knowledge or rigor. So we have a viable guaranteed curriculum, data-driven decision-making, not only from the school side, but as a district, and also reciprocal accountability, which I mentioned earlier. So that really is a POC site. We work through that. Coaching model through classroom observations and action walks, and then always focusing on continuous cycle of improvement. So with that, talking about how teachers, we were just sharing this last night at the school board, school site council meeting, is we talk about training teachers, and we kind of do it in an abstract way of showing a PowerPoint, reading a book, but another important piece is walking them through other classrooms. So showing them how it looks like, not just reading through or discussing it with them. So having more of those action walks with teachers so they can see the phenomenal teachings going on just next door or in the building next door. All right? So with that, with some of these things that we're looking forward to, we definitely have a BAG goal, and BAG is basically a big, hairy, audacious goal. And this is our big, hairy, audacious goal. We want Farmersville High School to be a California Distinguished School. That is what we're shooting for. Nothing else than that. So it's very possible that we could do that. There's two different metrics that are used to be a California Distinguished School. One has to do with closing the achievement gap of students. And I definitely could see that we are on track to do that. For secondary schools, high school and junior high, secondary, this award's given every 2 years. And it has been given out just last year to some neighboring school districts. So my question is, why not us? Why aren't we the ones that are receiving this? Why aren't we showing how great our students are doing here and how hard work is going on with our staff, our teachers, and our community? So that is our big, hairy, audacious goal. So we hope to get there soon enough. So with that, thank you. Drop the K, I'm sorry about that. Any questions you may have for me?
Mr. Zamora?
No, thank you for the positive presentation. Also, thanks for yesterday for greeting everybody that was coming in, and also thank you for showing up at the school site, the open house that we had yesterday at the high school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate
My
it.
role. Enjoy that.
I don't think I commented last time we did the school walks, but everybody's classes and schools looked awesome. I had never got into most of the classrooms, I think, recently, and when I seen them and the way the teachers were working with the students, it was different and new, but I could see why the kids love it and why they're so engaged here. And so that was an awesome experience, and what you talked about today kind of touches that as well. And I think we're heading in the right goal, right place, definitely.
I just want to thank you also for being there in the open house and familiar face, which is nice. And listening to the teachers actually working together, which is a long time coming. We've been on islands all by ourselves, but now we're starting to gel and work together, which is great. It's going to happen, so appreciate you.
Absolutely.
I too attended yesterday and want to say thank you for having it set up differently. In the past, it was in the cafeteria, so this was nice to be able to go into the classrooms and have that one-on-one time discussing with, the teacher and the parents and finding out a little bit more about the students and what the classrooms are all about and what's going on with that. That was really nice. Thank you, and keep it up. You're doing amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Ditto. I went to as many classrooms as I could. I think I missed the gym though, because I started in the back. But I'm so happy that you did that because the parents have an opportunity to go in and actually see the work that their children are doing, where the teachers cannot take everything, to a gym and be able to do that. But the environment they're in, they see where they sit, they know what they're, studying, which is something really great for them to see. I was also impressed with the site council meeting because back in my day, it wasn't that intense. So I like the rigor also at the site council meeting. I think that we have a lot of things that we should be, applauding, sending to the newspaper. I see things in the newspaper every day, and I said, we're already doing that. Why is it a big thing that they're doing it? Why is it in the paper? So, that's what we need to do. We need to pump ourselves up, show everybody that Farmersville is up. Okay, thank you very much.
One last thing. Will you let us know if they do any plant sales or anything?
I think
There is one.
There's one Friday?
Yes,
Okay.
it's Friday.
Friday.
Yeah,
So it just went out on Parent Square last week,
yeah.
so you guys are all welcome for plant sales, yeah.
No question for me, but why not us, right?
Yeah.
You talk about CTE programs, music, student athletes, people from outside agencies coming in to see the great things that are happening. You talk about the conditions for learning inside the classroom, which is very important, right? It all starts with students and our teachers inside that classroom. And why not take the bag? Why not that big, hairy, audacious goal? So thank you very much for what you're doing.
Yes, let's do this.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Oh, I'm so excited now, I'm pumped up. Okay. 7.0, people to be heard. 7.1, ratification of facility use request, 03-24-25 through 4-8-25, and approval of facility use request 4-9-25 through 5-22-25 for Farmersville Youth Soccer for use of Snowden School practice fields.
I have a question. I don't,
Can we do a motion?
Motion.
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't have.
discussion. Motion for discussion.
Yes, motion for discussion, there we go.
Who's doing it? Sabrina?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Sabrina Gomez, second by John Alvarez for discussion. Do we want to hear from Mr. Maldonado? Or you just have a question?
I just have a
Okay.
question. So for this request, is it requesting, is it for a fee waiver, or is it requesting our fields, and are we going to be doing the custodial services?
Well, that would be what you would have to motion,
Motion.
whether to
Well,
waive any of the fees or not.
Okay, so I do have a question. Are you using our custodial
No.
services?
No. We open the school and at the end of the day, we clean up everything, we take all the trash for class. So.
So this isn't a true number right here of what's on this request?
that's,
So if I could add, I think I thought we were gonna hear him speak, but, so it's a general application that he fills out.
Mhm.
So he has to put the dates when he plans to use it and the hours that he plans to use it. And there's an associated price to the hours based on the school site and what's being used. But I know that Mr. Maldonado in the past brings in his own trash cans, and he also takes the trash out of off-site, takes his, the trash cans, and also brings in porta potties. So it's not that the facility's being used, it's more of the field itself to have the games.
So we charge a facility fee of $20 an hour for the facility, correct?
And that's if he was gonna use the facilities, that's what we do. If they're bringing in their own restrooms, picking up the trash.
Okay.
And then the secondary number is associated with the custodial if we were gonna, or if they didn't clean, or if the porta potties were used, then we would need a custodial to facilitate that. But I think in this case,
We're
he's doing
not
it himself.
using
We're
it.
not using it.
Yeah.
Let's have Mr. Maldonado go ahead and give us some information.
Hello, my name is Ricardo Maldonado. Board members, thank you for the opportunity to come out and ask for the facilities, and so new, familiar faces. Last year we didn't came to ask for the facilities, but this year we really need the facilities. We've been doing it for the last 17 years, not counting the 2 years of COVID, but we've been out there, trying to provide an outing for the kids, to come out and play, practice. If you drive around town in Farmersville, you go to Armstrong Park, there's kids practicing. This park right here is packed all the time, every day. And basically, what we've been doing for the last 17 years, we've been surviving. So, it's like, we try to do more in our community. Like last year, we had an event, this year we had an event trying to help a family in need with cancer. We did a fundraiser and we raised more than $6,000 in one day, and not the whole day, but just in the morning. That was an amazing, to see the community stepping up to the plate and helping this family. Also, this year, I'm all over the place right now, okay, so excuse me. So this year, we're gonna start a fundraiser. It's gonna be every year, an event's gonna be every year in October. It's gonna be called something around, like Kick Cancer. We're gonna do something to create a fund for our community when a member of our community, needs a hand, needs help. So it's gonna be a huge event. But we need to partner with you guys, with the school district. And why not us? I love it. And I love your presentation. The principal from the high school, Jesus Gonzalez, that was a great presentation. Why not us? I'm always asked that question, why not us? And when I say that, it's because we need better soccer fields here in Farmersville. I don't know what's up in Farmersville, but we have kids that come out from other towns. It's an amazing feeling, you see kids from Tulare, from Visalia, Porterville, Strathmore, Hanford, Wood Lake, Ivanhoe. So many of them, they come from Lindsay. They like the competition. They like to play with the kids in Farmersville, So the teams that you get here practicing, like these days, most of the kids are Farmersville or other kids from out of town, but not the group from out of town. So let's say we take a team from Tulare, right? They practice in Tulare. They just come play with us on Sundays. So we don't do any advertisement about signups. We haven't sent flyers at the school sites in a long time because a lot of kids come and they register. You know, they want to be. I heard these good things about Farmersville, but we need better soccer fields. You know, we need more soccer fields. That way we can grow even bigger. Our projection. We're thinking about 2 years we're gonna hit 1,000 kids in a little town as Farmersville. You know, what it's about. You know, we need more soccer fields. The city has been working with us. You know, last year we just played in the city fields because we couldn't use the fields at the district. But this year the fields, they look great. You know, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Nevares. Thank you. You know, he's with open arms. Hey, bring these kids. This is why the fields are, you know, here for you guys. So we were talking to the coaches. Hey, pick up your trash. You know, don't leave any bottles behind. I mean, we have to help each other. You know, just to be proud of, you know, they're letting us use the soccer fields at Snowden. Snowden has been like how can I say this? It's been a place where people recognize us, you know, like this is the temple of soccer, you know, let's say, because they love it there. You know, I mean, I know some of these kids that come out, you know, like the board member, the student board member, he played with us. Emmanuel, he was a goalie. I mean, he was a great goalie. And I'm glad, you know, every time I come to see some of those kids that participate in other things. So, you know, we try to do nuestro poquito granito de arena, you know, we want to help out, but we need your help. We need your help. You know, if you guys want to, for our community to keep growing, why not us? You know, why not us?
Be the new term, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I've always been saying that, why not us? You know, why not Farmersville? Why don't we have a bigger, you know, soccer league, more fields, more soccer fields? I see Mr. Sanchez. You know, he's a great supporter. You know, we have a plan. You know, we put in a plan together about basketball. Why not us? You know, what's stopping us? You know? So if you guys have any questions for me, I know I'm all over the place, but I'm excited.
Are there
I'm
any
excited.
questions? Are there any questions down there?
No, I have none.
Ready?
So
No.
actually I do. So he's confirming, Mr. Maldonado, you're requesting for the fees to be waived?
Yes. I forgot to say that.
Alvarez?
No, we're good to go.
Okay.
Gomez?
So you're only requesting the fees to be waived for the facility fee because you don't use the custodial, right?
Yes.
So it would be for the 3,520 and not the full 6,600?
Yes.
And that
Well-
number's also
Who,
off.
are you finished asking questions?
That number's
Who
off?
opens and closes?
We do.
You
We
have-
open it and we close it.
Do we have them go out at all?
Mr. Melendez, do we have any of our custodial team or any part of Farmers Unified School District go out?
We signed a fee out to Maldonado, and then we signed it back in with
Mhm.
yes, and we got a list of people who have this.
Okay, so for sure there's never a need for custodial, right?
We used to use the inside facility. but-
Unless the sprinklers go off.
Yeah. Then we call them, help us. You know, the fingers are on.
What would be the correct number?
So the application has a date of March 24th, and we're already in April. So you have, the math is just a little bit off on
Well,
the
it'd
number
be a
of days that he's
ratification for
actually
those
using it.
dates and then approval for the rest. Because they did use the fields.
For practices, yes.
So as far as the math, what I'm hearing though, if what Mr. Maldonado is asking, he's asking for 0 fees.
Exactly.
Okay. So as far
So
as,
no fees.
but from the district perspective, because the usage has already been happening, we're just gonna have to clean up via ratification of some of
Yes.
the dates of usage.
Understood.
I would like what that number would be. Okay.
That's good. I make a motion to waive fees,
Second.
To waive all fees?
all fees.
Even if somebody has to be called out?
Well, at this point, he's taking care of everything. It's an emergency
Well-
situation, and that, again, it's a ratification, but
Well, I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
You-
I'll do the second with, is it a stipulation or a more of a, if it does arise to the situation where Mr. Melendez does have to address any major issues of stuff not necessarily being done, we could address it at that point.
Attend to those emergencies or, you know, try to accommodate.
Yeah.
Determine what.
Not that Mr. Maldonado is not gonna pick up his trash one Sunday, but if it does come out to, come Monday morning, it is a disaster,
Exactly.
then, you know, we could reassess at that point and have it addressed. And
Okay, so it would be to waive all fees unless an emergency or
Yes.
required.
An emergency deemed by the district.
Yes,
Okay.
okay,
Is that what I'm hearing?
yes.
Yes.
So we have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Mercedes Zamora. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
I'm trying to think. I'm gonna do aye. It's gonna be 4-1.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was motion by John Alvarez, second by Mercedes Zamora.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Keep the good work.
Thank you. Moving on to 8.0, public comments. Members of the public may address the board on any agenda item or other item of interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board before or during the governing board's consideration of the item. The board is not able to discuss or take action on any item not appearing on the agenda. Pursuant to board policy, the board may limit individual comments to no more than 3 minutes and individual topics to 20 minutes. Please begin your comments by stating your name.
School board, there aren't any public comments, any
And-
cards delivered.
You couldn't have said that before? No, I'm kidding.
I
Okay.
was getting ready to mention. I do have my superintendent.
Yes,
Fantastic.
Superintendent, yes.
Well, good evening, and why not us? I think that's gonna be the new take.
I kinda like the hairy thing, so, but whatever.
The big, hairy, audacious goal.
Yeah,
That's something we talk about, right? We shoot for that big, hairy, audacious goal. Fantastic. Well, I want to thank Farmers Unified School District for their dedication, our teachers that are present, obviously all teachers, but our staff members for providing effective instruction inside the classroom, creating the conditions for learning for all of our students, everybody connected to Farmers Unified School District. Our goal has always been to continue our K through 12, that streamline, connect the dots, overall TK through 12th grade instructional alignment. I think that's our goal. I believe that's our goal throughout Farmersville. I'm excited to share a few highlights. We talked a little bit about open house last night. Farmersville High School, you know, did a fantastic job, and they came together to share some insights and supports on student learning. Tomorrow we have Freedom. Let Freedom ring. Freedom Elementary will do the same. Theirs starts at 5 through 6 p.m. And then this Thursday, Snowden will host their open house event from 6 to 7:30. Correct, Mr. Navarez? I love the fact that in speaking to the principals, they've teetered their times because that's what the students and parents need,
Yes.
depending on their jobs. So very appreciative of listening to our community. College Career Day at Farmersville Junior High School. That's huge, huge. Farmersville Junior High School will host their annual College and Career Day parent luncheon. So this is the time where our secondary schools, specifically our junior high, get an opportunity to invite our parents to come on in and reconnect. You know, the purpose of it is that they can meet representatives from colleges and career pathways throughout our valley. The goal is to support the students' educational and career pathways. It's huge, obviously, here in the valley when it comes to the workforce investment. Character counts. I'm not sure if everybody saw the huge media push out for Mr. Giovanni Velasco Morelos from Freedom Elementary School. And that was huge. I was getting phone calls all week talking about, hey, Freedom's on the map, Freedom's on the map, Farmersville's on the map, and why not us, right? So KC24, Instagram, Twitter, you name all social media outlets, you know, they featured Giovanni Velasco Morelos from Freedom Elementary, and his thing was about lifting his community one student at a time. Now, you talk about student voice, that's Giovanni Velasco Morelos. Again, he was featured this week in the Character Counts and Character Matters program. Tulare County Office of Education and KC24 did a feature on this amazing young man. It was all over social media. There were a couple of our students. Mr. Sanchez's own son was featured as well. You know, his quote was, "You know you have made an impact when your fellow students have great things to say." And JP said he pumps us up and lifts us up to stay positive. So you know you've made it when your peers are talking about how great you do. It's not about you talking about how the great things that you're doing. Other kids are talking about how great you are, or the great things that you're doing. So Giovanni Velasco Morelos, Giovanni's message is that he wants all his classmates and his society, and I think he meant Farmersville in particular, his society, to be successful and work together. Now this is a fourth grade young man. And if you see that interview, he commands presence, he's looking straight into the camera, and he's telling everybody that he's Farmersville proud. So we're proud of this young man and all that he embodies, a true example of student voice of freedom, and he's an eagle that soars. And so thank you, Giovanni Velasco Morelos. If you're out there watching this or listening, I'm sure we're gonna get an opportunity to thank you and bring you here to the school board so that we can thank you personally. So we look forward to continue the support and the growth and the success of all of our students. And great things are happening in Farmersville, and Farmersville up.
Thank you, Superintendent Mendez. I'm still all pumped up here. Okay. 10.0, K-8 issues. 10.1, approval of Unlock the Power of Biliteracy with Literacy Squared, EPICC workshop on May 13th, 2025 at Tulare County Office of Education in Visalia, California.
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Sabrina Gomez. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-all. 11.0, high school issues. 11.1, approval to attend state CATA Summer Conference Cal Poly on June 22nd through 26th, 2025 at San Luis Obispo, California.
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Sabrina Gomez. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-all. 11.2, approval of industry tour FHS welding to Exeter Engineering on April 23rd, 2025 at Exeter, California.
Motion?
Motion with a question.
Mr. Espinoza, second?
Second.
I'll second.
Okay.
There was a motion
By Sabrina Gomez, second by Freddie Espinoza with a question, yes.
So my question is just on the mileage. So the 0.29%, cents is for our, utilizing our vans, right?
Yes.
Okay. That is my only question.
Are there any other questions?
I'll make a statement. Thanks, Dr. Gonzalez, for the itinerary. Has a complete breakdown since last meeting.
Make sure they stick to it.
Why not us?
A little hairy, okay.
Hey, we don't want them go welding somewhere else on the side. Okay, so we have a motion by Sabrina Gomez, second by Freddie Espinoza. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-all. 15.0, business services. 15.1, 2023-24 annual financial audit report presentation.
Yes, board, we do have Mr. Ricardo Monroy, Chief Business Officer.
Good evening, Board, President Lopez, Superintendent Mendez. So we did complete our financial audit. This is an annual practice that we have. And with us tonight to report on the audit is a representative, Hugo Luna, with Christie White and Associates. And so you'll notice that on your packet, there's a couple of items. First is the presentation of the audit and the outcome of the audit, followed by an approval action item to approve the audit. And so I'll go ahead and have Hugo lead the presentation for us tonight.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you all and to hear the great things that your school district is doing for the students. So our company is based out of, our administrative office is based out of San Diego, but because we audit statewide, our staff is statewide. So I'm from Newman, California, just down the 99 in Stanislaus County. Well, thank you very much. I'll be presenting the results of the audit for the year ended June 30th, 2024. So the cutoff was, from these financial statements, was June 30th, 2024. So our responsibility as a third-party auditor is to issue an opinion over the financial statements, and that's ensuring that they are materially stated for all users. And also, we're also making sure that we're checking for federal compliance and state compliance procedures. So our opinion doesn't address the fiscal condition of the school district. That's done by your fiscal team during first interim multi-year projection, second interim budget. So this is strictly over the financial statements. We did issue an unmodified opinion overall, which is the best opinion you can get. And in this presentation, I'll go over some of the procedures that went into obtaining that opinion. I want to read it right off the bat how it is stated in the audit report, the opinion word for word. In our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, the major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of the Farmersville Unified School District as of June 30th, 2024, and the respective changes in financial position for the year then ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. So when it comes to our opinion over the financial statements, we do review internal controls, and there's a series of procedures. That's internal controls over accounts payable, payroll, deposit process. What we do is we interview staff personnel. We find out what the district internal control process is for each transaction. We then select a sample of transactions for each area, and we're making sure that those transactions line up with the district internal control process. Some additional areas that we look into as well. It's long-term debt. Payments are being made. Things to do with the pension. Capital assets. That's everything over the district capitalization threshold of $5,000. Making sure that it's capitalized if it's a new addition, and if it's an existing asset that is being depreciated over time. And if there are removals, the district got rid of an asset that it was removed from the schedule and done so appropriately. And when it comes to transactions that are right after the fiscal year cutoff, so July, August, September, we're also reviewing to make sure that those transactions that are material were accrued in the correct fiscal year. That's for accounts payable, accounts receivable. Upon testing those, we found no material weaknesses, and the financial statements were in compliance. But we did find a deficiency, which I'll go over when I'm going over the findings at the end of the report. So there's a federal component to this audit because federal funds are restricted and they can only be used for specific purposes. Each federal program has their own audit guide that we use when we're testing it. So the district spent as a whole for 23-24 approximately $10.3 million of federal funds, and we selected two major programs for testing, and that was the child nutrition cluster with $1.9 million worth of expenditures, and the special education cluster with approximately $579,000 of expenditures. For federal testing, we issued an unmodified opinion, again, which is the best opinion possible. No significant deficiencies to report and no material weaknesses. When it comes to state compliance, it's actually a long list, and that list is actually for anyone who's ever interested in looking through each specific area. It's page 76 and 77 of the audit report. There's a lot of areas that fall under this umbrella of state compliance. Just to name a few, there you have the LCAP, Comprehensive School Safety Plan, Home to School Transportation Plan, pretty much all the plans that you see come before you, before the board. Most of those are going to fall under state compliance. And this is an area that's extremely difficult to not have any findings because when we're dealing with the financial statements, you know, there's a materiality component. But when we're dealing with state compliance, it's very black and white. Either you're in compliance or you're not. A common finding that I see that your district doesn't have, but just to show an example of how difficult it can be and how picky the state audit guide is, when it comes to the SARC testing, if just one word is off and the facility inspection tool doesn't match the SARC, that's a finding. You know, so it's extremely difficult to not have any findings. There's just so many areas, and you're not only working with one department. We're working with curriculum. We're working with child nutrition, the facilities department. It's pretty much state compliance is going to be the district as a whole. That being said, we issued an unmodified opinion, which is the best opinion possible. No significant deficiencies, no material weaknesses, but there was one finding in state compliance. So when it comes to long-term debt, the district started the year July 1st, 2023 at 52.7 million and ended the year at 58.2 million. The main reason for the change here is really the net pension liability, and that's not really something that the district can, there's nothing you can do about it. It's basically obtained from an actuarial the actuarial data at the state level, and we basically just use those assumptions to calculate these additions, yeah, that's where we stand at as of for long-term debt. I want to go over the findings now, and the one over internal controls was related to bidding procedures. So what we do is we select, so we ask for a listing of bids for the 23-24 fiscal year, and then we select a sample and we ask for documentation, show us the advertising date, show us how many days they had to submit, qualified bidders. There's a long list of requirements that we review for bidding. So we selected 4 projects, and for those 4 projects, documentation, although the district may have been in compliance, we were unable to review that documentation for the bid procedures. I wasn't on the audit team, so I can't say for sure. I'll have to get back to you if you have additional questions on that. But yes, that was the one for bidding procedures. And as a corrective action plan, the district stated that it would implement periodic reviews of bidding documentation, and then also training on the records retention and that includes bid documentation as well. The last finding was related to the state compliance one, and that's for unduplicated pupil testing, and this goes back to CalPADS data. So we select a sample of students for this, and this finding was related to, we're testing the free and reduced population. We're making sure we review the alternative income forms, and we basically say, okay, this district says that this student is free and reduced, show us support in the alternative income forms where it shows that they are free and reduced. So we tested 25 students, and 2 of those had paid but were still listed as free or reduced in CalPADS. So as a corrective action plan, and the district stated that they will implement training on CalPADS, implement heavy internal controls and a heavy review process prior to submitting CalPADS data. And what we do now with these corrective actions plans, when the new audit year comes around, we're making sure that they're implemented. And that's kind of how we handle those. We do a lot of follow-up, show us that you implemented this corrective action plan to make sure this finding doesn't happen again. And that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Mrs. Moore?
Yeah, on the records of the bids, is it like your taxes, you have to keep them for 3 years, or is there a particular time that you have to keep the bids from other competitors, I guess?
I'll have to check the records retention data for that, but I know that for sure it's more than 3 years. It might even be indefinitely, just because someone could come up and say, show me that you bid this project. But I'll have to get back to you on the specific number of years.
And just to follow up on that, is it a preference of paper, or if it's saved in an electronic device with like a file of that particular project, would that suffice? Or it doesn't matter?
Well, for our purposes, you know, we're just asked to review the documents, and it's usually we see it in digital format, because part of the heavy part of the audit is remote. So digital for us, as long as we can review it and make sure it has all the components for us, it's good.
Thank you.
So our staff is really good about, you know, directing the funds to the right location. But during the audit, do you guys see anything where, say money that's being pulled from certain account shouldn't be pulled for there for that service? Do you flag that for the district and say, hey, actually that money can be used out of this account?
So is that related to like use of specific restricted funds? Or?
So basically, the funds, let's just say, I don't know how I would put it. Say we're pulling out of our general funds, but it could be used from special funds that are being given to the district.
Oh, I see.
Do you see those things too as an auditor, or?
No, I think that would fall more under the umbrella of the business department. I think that'd be a great question. I think that'd be a great question for what we do for within the scope of the audit, like the restricted funds that I was talking about. For example, if we're testing special education, we'd make sure that those funds are being used for special education. But when it comes to, like, we can't tell a district, like, oh, you've got to use these funds, you could use this on something else, you know? So I guess that's not within the scope of the audit, yeah.
I can jump in as well. I mean, I lead the audit on behalf of the district.
Oh, nice.
So, and I can address Mr. Zamora's question as well. With the documentation, we do keep this digitally. And in fact, a lot of it comes through a transmittal, right? Because the board is approving contracts as they come up. And so through the process of trying to identify all of these documentation for the various projects that were listed, we weren't able to, you know, go back and find all of them. And so we will be working towards, we're looking at some systems to try to sort of centralize documentation of bidding procedures as a corrective measure, just to shed a little bit of light on that.
Why don't you give us the name of that so that we can plant that seed now?
So Mr. Melendez has identified a software called, it's a platform called Colby. And so we have had some preliminary discussions with them about cost and what sorts of, you know, capacity it has for us to at least start using that software to have vendors there to communicate out any projects that we have. And so we're gonna start looking at all of that because we wanna ensure that we're tracking all of the procedures through these bidding processes and that we can then collect all of that. And not only just rely on any documentation that goes through board transmittal, but all of it together should be basically a file, right? And so the transmittal is one component of it. So we're gonna be looking at that, and you'll probably see some of that come to you in the near future. As far as like the use of funds, right? So whether it's a grant, there are, depending on the department, there is specific oversight. So whether it's special education, then those funds are primarily managed through whoever the lead might be. If it's the after-school program, that person is also, you know, has received training on audits for that particular program. That, supported by the business department, also us knowing what kinds of things are allowed, not allowed, and we work together collectively as a team, whether it's also LCAP, right, and ensuring that things are being coded correctly. In terms of like using funds from one source to another, you know, if you are doing that through one fund to another, then we would come to you with a resolution to allow us to move funds from one fund to another, if it's allowed between those funds. And so we do that annually. We do bring you a resolution to move money around. And so it's all documented in our financial software. Our financial software also will catch errors in coding for us, so that if, you know, the principal is coding something or the secretary is coding something through a requisition, and then it comes to us for approval to get to a purchase order. Then if there's an incorrect code in there, then we'll go ahead and catch it. And we use our Bible is what we call it. It's the CSAM, it's the California School Accounting Manual that we utilize as our reference tool to know what things are allowed, whether it's coding for instructional services, and what kinds of things, what kinds of functions can be allowed, what kind of object codes, and so there's quite a bit that goes along with that. It's not, like anything, there can be errors, and we do catch them. If we don't, we work closely either with our auditors to make adjustments, or with our county office also to make adjustments. But there's a lot of checks and balances in how you utilize funds, because if it's restricted funds, some of them, as was already mentioned, are very highly restricted, whether it's state funds or federal funds. Obviously, unrestricted funds that come through our general fund through LCFF, that's the revenue that we get from attendance of students, and we plan on how to do that. And in fact, Mr. Ochoa has been taking us through this LCAP process and engaging with the community to identify how we're gonna use those funds. So there's a lot of checks and balances that goes into us planning a budget and the whole budget process.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had a question on the program that we're talking about to do proper bidding in companies that are approved in that. Does it also give financial status of those companies?
So there's a series, there's a checklist. And in fact, there's, the application that they submit, it asks them things like if they've had any bankruptcies, if they've, have any criminal records, I believe. And so they will help us to really filter out, and obviously we want high quality vendors, contractors to come and do our projects. And so it's gonna help us to have that capacity to filter out and zero in on, high quality contractors for any future projects that the superintendent and board may have.
So always the cheapest bid is not always the best, so just as long as we got that in there, we're good, yeah?
Mr. Monroe, I know we're bringing that up for approval and potential presentation in our upcoming board meeting.
Yes.
As far as for Mr. Luna, you said you came from
Newman?
Newman.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Hugo Luna?
No, as long as we have a system in place that makes him happy next time he comes.
Yeah, and I got a sneak peek at the corrective action plan.
There you go.
presentations.
Yeah.
Did you have anything?
All my questions were answered. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to check because all these construction contracts were awarded during this, that year. And so I'm looking at, it says formalized procedures for bid documentation and retention. So that's what was found in each one of these, or different things in each one?
When it comes to the specifics of the audit, I'm just here, unfortunately, I didn't have the pleasure of getting to actually dig into the audit, so I'm only here to present the results. But we'll get you an answer though, for sure.
Okay, I would
I'll ask my
appreciate
team,
that.
yeah.
The narrative from the report, it was saying, it didn't have the competitor bids on it, even though we might have it, and I think
Yeah, it was
it's a board
documentation.
agenda, they usually have to come up with, like, for example, the printers, it has the different printers that we pick, but when they were reviewing the reports, I don't think we presented those documents to show that we indeed were within policy of picking the lowest one, because we just didn't have those documents to provide.
That's correct.
Yep, okay.
And I understand on some of these, we didn't have any other bidders. On some of these projects, I don't know if it necessarily this was one of them.
So those are three of the sampled, or four, excuse me,
Four.
there's four of them that were sampled that they found some, there were some concerns.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's say in the instance that we select one that didn't have any other bids, I mean, we still review that it was posted, notice inviting bids, things like that, for even if there were none, we still kind of ask for those.
Okay,
Yeah.
but yes, I would like to kind of know exactly what it was that was,
Basically, the correct process of bidding.
Okay,
okay.
you got it.
Mr.
Nothing-
Luna, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
My
Travel
pleasure, thank you
safely.
for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All righty then.
15.2, approval of 2023-24 FUSD Annual Audit Report.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. Are there any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 13.0. Approval of classified personnel, item 13.1.1 through item 13.1.3.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Freddie Espinoza. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm sorry.
Abstention.
We have 401 with Sabrina Gomez abstaining. 13.2, Personnel Action Report, information only. 13.3, Adoption of Resolution Number 16-04-08-25 for placing a classified employee on a 39-month reemployment list.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Sabrina Gomez. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Quick question. I know you said earlier you wanted to put,
13.6,
oh, 13.6? Oh, okay, I just want to make sure.
that was the other question?
Yeah, that was the question.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 13.4, approval of potential use of certificated substitutes during summer school.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 13.5, approval of Frontline Central Digital Onboarding Platform.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 14.0, board business. 14.1, consideration of any item any member of the board wishes to have on a future agenda or provide a written update. Mr. Zamora?
None. Thank you.
Mr. Espinosa?
Nope, not at this moment.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yeah, I think we need to get some advertising in the newspaper about Farmersville. I think maybe I should have a bigger budget for that. No, I'm good. Thank you.
I have two things.
Okay.
One, do we have any plans, summer plans for to put the shade at the high school for the, welding and the construction section? Do we know?
Those are currently under ESA review as of today.
Oh, yeah.
So when we get those plans back, then we will have to, present that to the board.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. My other thing, I don't know if this is something that we would put on as an agenda, as an open discussion. So I would like to know if we're spending any money or how we're spending on, the wear and tear on our facilities. Whether it's the gym, how are we taking care of it, maintaining it? Are we finding a lot of damage due to,
Overuse?
yeah, of overuse? Whether it's the fields, the gyms?
Mr. Melendez, you and I can work together tomorrow, and look at some of the data that you and I had been talking about for the last month, as far as wear and tear of usage of facilities.
Okay,
Would you like the data to be presented, at a board meeting?
Yes, please.
Yes, so, besides the data, the plans for, our football field, soccer field, there's a pretty, worn. So we need to, see when we're gonna be able to bring those back up to good quality,
So an
So-
action plan?
action plan of how we're going to accomplish that, so that, even if we're not playing on it, we don't allow other people, so we can be able to seed it or whatever we need to do.
So an action plan to guarantee that the facilities are always in proper order for all the community.
Exactly. Did that bring up any other thoughts?
I just want to make a positive comment.
You may be positive. Thank
Yeah,
you. Go
awesome.
ahead.
So I did go to the track meet for the junior high, and that was really cool. Seeing the kids really trying their hardest to race each other from different schools. And you only see that at the high school level, right? But I feel like when we did that for the junior high, it's instilling something in these kids that when they get to the high school, they're going to be like, I was actually faster than a lot of those kids at the other school. And so praying and hoping that it just continues to put that fire in their heart to join the track team and keep going out for sports. So
I'll just add to that collaboration, Freedom School with Mr.
Freedom.
Gasca,
Freedom
Mr.
School.
Alvarado, and I believe Mr. Lopez, our special education teacher at Snowden School, along with Farmersville Junior High School, got together and made sure we had enough candidates to race and work with against 5 other schools. That's the first annual. And the amount of parents that went out there, and the amount of teachers, the amount of people that donated their time and effort to guarantee a successful event was amazing. Mr. Dybus, the athletic team, the track and field and cross-country team, were out there at each event making sure that things were done appropriate and correct. So yeah, we were excited. Superintendent Bravo from Outside Creek was very excited. He was also an old Farmersville student here at Farmersville Unified School District. Was excited to partner with Farmersville Unified. Same with all the other small districts. I'm sure Dr. Monroy has already received information from neighboring schools that want to participate as well. So we're 5. I'm sure next year it'll be 10, and why not us?
Yeah. Is there ever an opportunity to have a dirt track at the junior high?
There used to be one, and that would be something to talk to Mr. Sanchez and his action plan and his viewpoint on how he wants that site to look. If it was with Mr. Sanchez, he'd take every single grade in his site. Athletics and the curriculum and anyways, I'll digress.
Yeah, we do need to look at, providing quality fields, classrooms, all that for all our students. I know that at one point we had talked about naming one of the softball fields, and that was put on hold because we also had solar coming in. So I don't know if that's still a thing. So maybe that's something that we need to kind of all look at to see if we're gonna still go in that direction. I know they're not using the JV fields, so that might be an area where it could be used for track. So this is something we all need to work together and maybe come up with a new session.
Yeah. So what I hear though from the comment, I'm sorry, not Mr. Espinoza, but Ms. Gomez, wear and tear of the facilities and an action plan to guarantee all facilities are ready for the whole community. So like a calendar, just a plan.
Okay. I'll go on to 17.0, future meeting dates, 17.1, April 29th, 2025, and May 13th, 2025. 20.0, adjournment to closed session at 8:24 to discuss 20.1, conference with labor negotiator GC 54957.6. It is the intention of the board to meet in closed session to review its position and to instruct its designated rep, agency designated representative Manuel Mendez, name of organization FTA/CSCA/management. 20.2, public employee discipline dismissal release complaint, government code 54957, 20.3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to subdivision D, 2, and E of section 54956.91 case. Thank you very much. We're going into closed session. If you'd like to dismiss.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you very much for attending an amazing school board meeting, amazing presentations. Please enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night, drive carefully.
Thank you for coming. You're welcome to stay until we come out of closed session, but.
I'd like to ask Mr. Melendez
You can.
to stay behind a little bit.
Okay, we're ready. We are returning into open session at 9:17. We'll go back to 13.6, request to approve leave of absence.
Motion to deny.
Second.
We have a motion to deny by John Alvarez, second by Sabrina Gomez. Are there additional questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-all.
Just say, we want to wish him the best of luck and thank you.
Thank you. Ditto.
So what I'm hearing from the board, we want to wish you, Mr. Dybus,
Good luck.
the best of luck in your new role. Thank you so much for the service that you provided for all the students and staff and athletes of Farmersville Unified School District. Thank you again.
Yes. Okay. Action taken on closed session items under 21.0, 21.1, conference with labor negotiator GC 54957.6. No action taken. 21.2, public employee discipline dismissal release complaint. No action taken. 21.3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation. No action taken. 22.0, adjournment at 9:18.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Sabrina Gomez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-all. Thank you very much.